Alrighty guys, welcome to the Wyatt on the Water show. Just basically a continuation of the Albert Collins show. Albert and Clayton. So next up we got Clayton Boulware. We're out here fooling around a little bit. Clayton's doing a little bit of fishing. Clayton, you want to tell them a little bit about what you're doing?
Man, all I'm doing this morning is I'm throwing a trap, or I said trap, a vibrating liftless bait. Trap, a 6-inch quake thud, just shallow grass. Just the key is trying to find the grass because there's not a lot of it. I'm trying to find something that's kind of isolated that not everybody's just beaten to death. And I'm just looking for some stuff for the BFL and a couple more tournaments Albert and I have coming up. Like I say, just trying to find the right kind of grass is difficult right now. We don't have a lot of grass on Rayburn like we did in the past, so kind of like finding a needle in a haystack. But if I find 6 or 7 needles, I'll be okay.
Right. How's Rayburn been fishing for you?
Numbers are good. I mean, you can catch a lot of little fish, a lot of keeper fish. Just getting that 3.5, 4 pound fish is difficult right now. And unlike sometimes when you have good grass and a lot of it, you'll find schools. You'll catch 2 or 3 good ones out of the grass. Not like that right now. We don't have enough grass, so usually you catch 1 or 2 and have to go find another section that's got a little bit and catch 1 or 2 there. That's what's so difficult about it right now. You just can't go down a stretch and catch a good bag. You got to run all over and just kind of exhaust everything you got to catch what you can and hope you get a couple of those good ones throughout the day. If not, you're at 13, 14 pounds. You get the right bites, you're at 19 to 21. It's just, you're kind of at the mercy of what bites that day.
A lot of people have been saying Rayburn's been fishing weird.
It has.
What's your opinion on that?
Yeah, it's definitely fishing different than it does most other years for the time of the years, and it's done it all year. It'll either be behind or ahead. It's just what you did last year at this time really ain't working like it did last year. But you had different lake levels. You actually got about the same amount of grass, maybe a little more grass last year. Definitely doesn't fish like it has in years in the past. Absolutely not. And I've seen years like this, and you just have to adapt and overcome. That's all you can do. When I'm throwing a trap, I am just freaking covering a lot of water and just looking for those reaction bites. You gotta have the right kind of equipment. I mean, you can't come out here and throw a trap without a grass. It's a 7-foot medium heavy action rod. You gotta have a rod. You got a backbone. I'm throwing it on a Falcon 7.3 Olmsted. I use that in the Falcon Lowrider 7.4 jig rod, luge reels, 16 or 18 pound suffix, either shooter or sniper fluorocarbon. You just can't go to a gunfight with a knife. You'll get beat up real quick. And,
right.
One of the keys to this shallow trap fishing, you got to be able to rip that trap out of the grass. And those lighter action rods, you'll rip. But you don't have enough backbone to get the grass off the hook. It just stays on the hook. Well, you got a wasted cast at that point. You got to have enough rod to really rip it and get the grass off the hooks and get it to rip through those clumps. Which if you don't, you're wasting cast. And there's still going to be times it's too thick to do that. But 90-95% of the time, this Olmsted is plenty, absolutely plenty to do it. I throw all my, this year every year I do a different luge reel, trying to figure out what I like the best in the grass. And I went to the Super Duties this year, and just for a couple reasons. First of all, the reel is so tough. I mean, it's their workhorse. They'll tell you it's their workhorse, and you got about 20 yards more line capacity spool wise than you do on their smaller ones like the Hyper Mags and stuff like that. And when you start spooling that, anything above 15, when you start spooling that bigger fluorocarbon, it makes a difference. When you make a long cast on a smaller diameter reel, and you spool a lot more line off, but when you kick in gear to start trying to get over that grass, you got to reel it faster. That's just a law of math with diameter and all of that. So these 20 yards extra makes a heck of a difference when you're throwing a trap. And I mean, that's why I'm doing it. And man, these guys are super duper for throwing a trap. I use it also this year for throwing Texas rig and all that. That's kind of been my go-to reel this year, and I've been very impressed.
Now, I noticed you said you throw fluorocarbon right now.
That's right.
Now, a lot of people have, they find trouble when they're trying to fish grass with traps. They find trouble and they go to braid. You ever found that trouble?
No, not if you know what you're doing and you know how to tie a knot. That's the two things. I have, me and Chris McCall has caught a sack of big fish, and I can probably count on one hand. I can't even tell you the last time I broke a fish off on a trap. I can't, if that tells you anything. Cannot even go back that far. So, no, I absolutely have zero problem throwing trap on fluorocarbon in the grass. And the thing about it, when you start throwing that trap on braid in the grass, water is clear, and when those fish start getting low, ripping that braid into that grass, you hear that noise, you're not the only one hearing the fish are too. They get super sensitive, super hard to catch. You don't get the amount of bites you do on fluorocarbon. It's just like using fluorocarbon for flipping grass when you use braid versus fluorocarbon. You're gonna get more bites on braid. On fluorocarbon, I'm sorry. Absolutely gonna get more fluorocarbon bites. That braid is good stuff and it has its places. Don't get me wrong. But throwing a trap, not one of them. Absolutely not.
All right, now some of the younger anglers, they pull up to a spot, say it's got grass. Indian Creek's full of hydrilla. It's been beat to death. They say, well, how do I know to throw a trap or Alabama rig? They don't know how to decipher. What's your opinion on that?
It's just a lot of it's confidence. Just confidence. These trap fish they're getting beat to death. Right now they're getting shit beat out of them. But you gotta have confidence in what you're doing. If you got confidence in throwing a trap, I feel like I can go behind folks throwing a trap day in, day out and get bit on fish that they don't get bit out of. And it's just confidence. I tell people to be a good angler, you got to have a lot of confidence, almost to the point of they'll say, "Man, that guy's arrogant." No, you're not arrogant, but if you don't have confidence in yourself, who does? I mean, that's all I can say. If you don't have confidence in yourself and your ability, then who does have confidence in yourself? You just got to know that hey, every cast is potentially good. And if you don't have confidence in yourself, you might as well stay home. That's bottom line. You got to.
Alrighty, guys, stay tuned.
We were talking earlier about high school and fishing, and the high school deal is great. I think it's awesome for the kids. Great opportunities to get them out on the water. And it's like I tell everybody else. The only thing you're gonna hear me complain about on high school is man, these kids aren't being taught. Some of these kids, some of them are. Don't get me wrong, but a lot of these kids aren't being taught the courtesy, the on the water respect, and the safety. And it bothers me. So many times we'll be fishing a tournament, and you'll have a high school set of kids come in and pull in on a point no further than here to there, right there in front of you, start fishing. I don't blame the kid when it comes to that. I blame that captain that's in that boat. He is the one driving that boat. Ultimately, he's the one that's responsible in the end. So I can't blame those kids. I just think, man, teach them the right way. Teach them the respect. Teach them that if they see you catch a fish, that they don't turn a trundle around and come right to you. That's one of my, and not just mine, all of the tournament anglers here. That's one of and the only complaint I've heard about the high school stuff is the lack of respect that they're being taught, by their captains. And I want to, go back and add a footnote to that. I'm not saying it's all of them. Don't get me wrong. There's a lot of kids out there that's getting taught correctly. A lot of kids. But there's a lot of kids that's not. And, they need to understand, if you're going down a bank and they pull in and cut you off, I'm going to give a man at least a football field length, at least 100 yards, and probably going to give him more than that before I pull in front of him and start fishing. That's just the way it should be. 50 yards, or you have to curtail your cast to keep from hitting them, Or you catch a fish and you're down the bottom of a boat culling, and you look up and there they are. That is just stuff that doesn't need to happen. And that's got to be taught to those kids. No, I don't own the water. None of us own the water. But I was taught by my dad, sportsmanship, courtesy, and these kids need to be taught. Absolutely, and there's, like I was saying, there's just a lot of great things that comes out of high school fishing, and that's probably the biggest negative. And the other thing is safety. I see a lot of these kids. The captain will crank up. You'll have a kid sitting in the front seat. Yeah, he's got his life jacket on. A kid sitting in the back seat. Yeah, he has a life jacket on. They all have the life jackets on, but they're going to go from here across that pocket. They get on pad and run over there with that kid sitting in the front seat. There's signs and verbiage in these boats that says you're not supposed to sit in elevated seats when the big engine's running. Yeah, if that kid falls out, he's got a life jacket on. But you know what? That life jacket is not going to help if that boat runs over him and drags him under the prop, And can the captain act quick enough to pull the kill switch? Is that something you really want to find out? And just the safety and the sportsmanship. High school fishing is great. I think it's one of the best thing ever. If they'd had high school fishing when I was in high school and college fishing when I was going to college, I would have a 4-year degree in something. It may not be anything but basket weaving, but I'd have a 4-year degree. I'd have fished 4 years in college, and I would have never picked up a basketball or a baseball. I'd have been in a boat every weekend in high school. But they didn't. But the opportunity's there for the kids now, and, they need to utilize it. But just, understand the gentleman rules, the sportsmanship, and the safety part of it. And that'll make them a much better angler. And that'll make their organization look much better when they're on the water. That's just my 2 cents worth. But trust me, the majority of the guys that tournament fish have the same opinion.